for being here. I can assure you that this is how things change in this country. It's when brave men and women step forward and say to a concerned body like this of Republicans and Democrats sitting here listening to your story, I can't even imagine, I can't pretend to imagine how tough it is to sit here and relive this. And I think I can safely say that we're committed to bringing right to all of this wrong. And every one of you have hit the nail on the head by saying, every one of you have said, the story is about the individual veteran. And I've only been on this committee for 18 months, but the last 3 months, the chairman and the ranking member have led an intense investigation into what the heck happened to the VA from the day that it started to the mission today. And every layer of this onion that we've peeled back comes down to the same core issue. Nobody's advocating for the veteran. And the culture itself, and when we talk about systemic problem and the culture itself, and a secretary is removed and a bunch of people are removed, and we're sitting here trying to be able to help America reset a button because Americans believe in our veterans. They sent us here to fight for our veterans. And I want to just applaud your effort. You have made such a huge difference here today. This is how laws change. This is how policy becomes correct. And this is how we move forward in this country. We do it together. Unfortunately, sometimes it takes the disaster that we've had in a bureaucratic system of the VA. But, the frustrating thing for me is I have 54,000 veterans in my district. And every time I describe my veterans, I talk about I have 54,000 veterans and their families in my district. And I want to applaud your effort on two huge issues that I think that we can address in this Congress and we can help move forward on this issue of mental health. The one is a support network. I can't even tell you, and I know you know, how many constituents have called our office in Indiana. And the wife or the husband is in tears and they are begging and they're advocating for the spouse that the VA says HIPAA prohibits me from allowing you to get involved in this. I've gotten personally involved in some of these mental health cases in my district, calling the directors and regional directors and trying to advocate for my constituent on behalf of a spouse. And the answer is still no, HIPAA overrides. And I even asked the question, do you have a different law of HIPAA? Do you subscribe to a different definition than we do? And the answer was no, HIPAA overrides. And so just having a support network to be able to come in and be that bridge between somebody who is dying and the system. And I applaud that effort. And I'm going to make sure that we do everything we can to get that part of the law changed because we can bring advocates into the lives of these struggling men and women. And for the spouses that are trying to hold the families together, we can do that too. And I want to just thank you for your commitment as well on the issue of keeping this focus where it belongs. And, I think someday, I don't think this is a quick turnaround, but I think you've brought light, transparency, and accountability to another layer of what America needed to hear. And while you're sitting here today talking to us, and while we're trying to relate and share your grief, and we're trying to find solutions to move forward, you've had an opportunity to talk to the American people today. And I guarantee you that every single person that you are an influence to that has followed your story in the states that you're from, I'm going to hear from my constituents today and say, I relate to that mom, and I relate to that father, and I relate to my fellow servicemen. And I just think it's a tribute today. This is how government works, and we have a commitment to make sure we restore not your sons, but certainly the America that they have been fighting for, certainly our trust in and their trust in us as a government who asks them to go, fight for freedom and fight for liberty, our finest heroes in this nation, and to be able to reinstitute to them by continuing to root out the bad actors and the bad policy in the VA and together set a reset button. So I just want to applaud your efforts and thank you so very much for helping us reset an organization that started out as a great, noble effort and really has run into a bureaucracy that has just run amok. But you have our commitment today, and my commitment certainly, that none of what you've experienced will be in vain. So thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. I yield back my time.
Thank you, Mr.